In Spanish, talking about or using the date is quite straightforward, and it follows the same sort of word order that's used in most of Europe, including in British English, where we use the day, month, then year format, instead of the US American way of starting with the month, then having the day. So in Spanish, the 3rd of November, or November 3rd, as many Americans would say, is going to be el 3 de noviembre. Notice that when I said this, I said el 3. So in spoken Spanish, it's common to refer to dates starting with el, the. And all numbers are masculine, so it's always going to be el. For example, el 5 de julio, the 5th of July. El 3 de octubre, the 3rd of October. And notice I'm saying in English the 5th, the 3rd. I'm not saying the 3, the 5. In Spanish, I can just use my normal numbers, what we call cardinal numbers, that normally express quantity, instead of ordinal numbers, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, with the exception of el primero for the 1st of the month. You can get away with saying el uno de, and then the month, particularly in Spain, but in Latin America everyone says el primero, and those in Spain who say el uno are often criticized by grammarians who say you should always say el primero, and then after that you can say el dos, el tres, el cuatro, and so on, just using your normal numbers. Now, I've taught lots of Brits and lots of US Americans, and generally this is a bit more complicated for US Americans because they are used to using this sort of format and used to saying November 3rd and not using the word the at all, just November 3rd. Whereas in British English, we're quite used to saying the 3rd of November, using this format, but also including the word the, el 3 de noviembre. So as I mentioned, I would include this when I'm saying it, but if I'm writing the date, I would just write 3 de noviembre. You don't need to include the word the. Now, here we've not actually used a day of the week. If I wanted to include a day of the week, that would go first, exactly the same as the European standard, the British English standard, where I'd say Tuesday, the 5th of May. Martes el 5 de mayo, or I could just write martes 5 de mayo. I wouldn't need to include the el if I'm writing it. So let's say the 3rd of November is going to be a Friday. I'd say viernes el 3 de noviembre de 2025. I'm including de, the day of month, same as I do in British English, but this day is something that can catch people out because in English I'd say the 3rd of November. I'd actually say 2025. I could say 2025. Here I've got to say the 3rd of November of 2025, and notice that my years, I'm actually having to say 2025 or 2025 for those of you that speak British English.